That gate took like 7 minutes to pry.
Which is a good thing.
Somebody decides to break into Frost Bistro, come try to steal some money, steal the safe. Why not just do something in life to earn money and find something else to do? That's when they come out with the safe.
That's crazy. You know, it totally messes up your whole, like, your mental, you know.
The sun had barely dipped below the horizon when Jasmine's world shattered. The courtroom's sterile air still clung to her skin, the judge's gavel echoing in her mind like a death knell. Custody of her son Cannon, her anchor in a stormy life, had been ripped away and handed to Kirk, the man who'd once promised her everything but delivered only betrayal. The ruling wasn't just a loss, it was a wound, raw and bleeding, and it fueled a fire in her that no amount of reason could extinguish. Jasmine sat in her car outside the courthouse, her hands trembling as they gripped the steering wheel. Her breaths came in sharp, jagged bursts, and her eyes burned with unshed tears. She'd fought so hard, months of legal battles, sleepless nights, and desperate pleas, only to watch Kirk's smug face as the judge sided with him. His money, his charm, his stable life with Rashida, it had all outweighed her love, her sacrifices. She wasn't just losing Cannon, she was losing herself. The drive to Kirk's house wasn't planned. It was instinct, a pull she couldn't resist. The streets blurred past her, the Atlanta skyline a smear of lights against the darkening sky. Her mind raced with memories, Kirk's late-night visits, his whispered promises, the birth of their son, and then the betrayal, his refusal to acknowledge Cannon fully, his insistence on keeping her at arm's length while he played the perfect husband at home. Now he'd taken her child too. The injustice of it gnawed at her until she felt like a caged animal, clawing for release. When she pulled up to Kirk's sprawling house, the sight of it hit her like a punch. The manicured lawn, the glowing windows, the picture-perfect life she'd never been allowed to touch. It mocked her. She killed the engine and sat there for a moment, the silence deafening. Then something snapped. A scream tore from her throat, primal and unhinged, and she flung open the car door. Her feet hit the pavement and she stormed toward the house, her vision tunneling. She didn't care who saw her, didn't care what they'd think. The front yard was a blur as she grabbed a decorative rock from the garden, its weight solid and cold in her hands. With a guttural yell, she hurled it at the nearest window. Glass shattered, the sound sharp and satisfying, a crack in the facade of Kirk's perfect world. She didn't stop there. Another rock followed, then a potted plant, its soil exploding across the pristine porch. Lights flicked on inside, and shadows moved behind the curtains. Jasmine's heart pounded, adrenaline surging as she kicked at the door, her sneakers leaving scuff marks on the polished wood. "Kirk!" she screamed, her voice raw and ragged. "You think you can take him from me? You think you can just erase me?" Her fist hammered against the door, the pain in her knuckles a distant echo compared to the agony in her chest. The door swung open and there he stood, Kirk, his face a mask of shock and anger, Rashida hovering behind him with wide eyes. "Jasmine, what the hell are you doing?" he barked, stepping forward as if to block her. But she was beyond reason, beyond control. She lunged at him, her hands clawing at his shirt, nails digging into fabric and skin. "You don't get to win," she shrieked, her voice breaking. "You don't get to take my son and pretend I don't exist."
Sometimes I feel like we can't catch a break. You know, we're in the middle of filing for full custody. I've been in court with this situation. Then, you know, we get broken into. It's always something on top of something. It totally puts me in a bad space with even moving forward with buying more property. It makes me feel like we might need to rethink and pause on the next move. I feel all kinds of ways right now because it's like, damn. You know, this being in the public eye sometimes, we just get targeted. Like, people just think, you know, let's just go break in their house. You know, they broke in Spice's house, they broke in Sierra's house, they came to my house twice. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad to be able to stay in business and provide great food and a great business for people to come to.
And what's crazy is this is something I normally would connect with Yandy with, since she's had incidents with her restaurants too, but
It's like some in the water or something, because everybody's arguing, even Yandy.
she came at me and Spice about some mess about Mendices and trying to act like I ain't have her back again.
Crazy.
you said
She,
that?
yeah,
Oh,
I'm like,
gee.
damn, Yandy.
I mean, you know, I ain't got no problem with nobody for real, but my thing is like, you gotta be mindful of that.
At least y'all used to be like, it was like cliques. Now it seemed like,
Everybody just doing whatever, all over the
bro,
place.
that crew, I don't know what the happened.
After After kind of like replaying this whole situation, I felt like if somebody is your friend, you don't come in on the accused. Whatever Yandy and Mendices got going on in their household that's trickling all outside, that has nothing to do with me or my husband. End of story. Sometimes, you know, friendships change and...
Bro, like, what's going on here? Now, just take me off your radar. Don't come here with we got enough going on. I see Jasmine is recruiting. She's hanging around your girlfriend. We need to really, truly rethink.
Everybody. A bitch too old to be having to maintain and maintenance people. I want to protect my peace.
Rashida's voice cut through the chaos, sharp and commanding. Get off him! You're crazy! She grabbed Jasmine's arm, pulling her back, but Jasmine twisted free, her fury a living thing. She shoved past Kirk, stumbling into the foyer, her eyes darting wildly. Photos lined the walls. Kirk and Rashida, their kids, a happy family that didn't include her or Cannon. It was salt in the wound, and she lashed out, sweeping a vase off a table. It crashed to the floor, shards scattering like her broken dreams. Kirk grabbed her from behind, his arms locking around her waist as she thrashed. "Stop it, Jasmine. You're making it worse," he yelled, his breath hot against her ear, but she didn't want to stop. She wanted him to feel the chaos she felt, the loss that consumed her. She kicked and screamed, her voice a wail of grief and rage until her strength began to falter. Neighbors had gathered outside, their murmurs a distant hum as sirens wailed in the distance. Rashida stood frozen, her hand over her mouth, watching as Kirk wrestled Jasmine to the ground. She didn't fight the police when they arrived, didn't resist as they pulled her arms behind her back and snapped on the cuffs. Her eyes, wild and wet, locked onto Kirk's as they dragged her away. "This isn't over," she spat, her voice low and venomous. "You'll never erase me." The squad car door slammed shut and the house receded as they drove off, its lights flickering like a beacon of everything she'd lost. Jasmine's chest heaved, her mind a storm of regret and defiance. She'd gone wild. Yes, attacked the life Kirk had built without her. But in that moment, she felt alive, unbowed, a mother who'd fought until she had nothing left to give. Hey everyone, imagine walking into a courtroom where the air feels thick with tension, like you could cut it with a knife. The stakes? Sky high. At the heart of it all is Jasmine Washington, sitting there, her eyes glistening with tears that just won't stop. She's clutching a tissue, her breath shaky as the judge drops a bombshell that changes everything. Kirk Frost, her ex, the man she's been tangled up with in a messy, years-long drama, has just won full custody of their child. Full custody. Those words hit like a freight train, and you can see it on Jasmine's face. The shock, the disbelief, the raw heartbreak. She's crumbling right there in front of everyone. While Kirk, he's on the other side of the room, cool as ever, maybe even letting a little victorious grin slip. This isn't just a legal win for him, it's personal, and it's massive. Let's take a step back and unpack how we even got here, because this isn't some overnight story. It's a saga that's been brewing for years. Jasmine and Kirk's history is the kind of roller coaster that keeps you glued to the screen. It's messy, it's chaotic, and it's been playing out in the public eye for way too long. They share a kid together, and that's where the real fireworks started. Picture this, accusations flying left and right, heated arguments spilling onto social media, and both of them digging in their heels, swearing up and down that they're the better parent. Kirk's been out here flexing his case, saying he's got the stability, the money, the home life to give their child everything they need. Jasmine, though, she's been pouring her soul into this fight, telling anyone who'll listen that she's the one who's been holding it down, the one with the unbreakable bond. It's been a tug of war, and that poor kid's caught right in the middle. Now let's zoom into that courtroom scene again, because this is where it all hits the fan. The judge is up there, papers rustling, voice steady, laying out the decision like it's just another day at the office. But for Jasmine, it's the moment her world flips upside down. Full custody to Kirk Frost. Bam, just like that. You can almost hear the silence that follows, the kind that screams louder than words. Jasmine's sitting there, frozen, tears spilling over as she tries to process what just happened. Her hands are probably trembling, her mind racing a million miles a minute. Did she miss something? Could she have fought harder? Meanwhile, Kirk's over there, standing tall, maybe exchanging a quick nod with his lawyer. For him, this is vindication, a big, bold checkmark in the win column after all the chaos they've slogged through. He's walking out of that courtroom with his head high, ready to take on the next chapter as the sole custodian. But let's dig into the juicy details. How did Kirk pull this off? Word on the street is his team came locked and loaded. They didn't just show up, they showed out. They painted a picture of Kirk as the rock, the steady hand, the guy who's got his life together, stable income, solid home, no drama. Well, at least that's what they sold to the judge. And Jasmine. She wasn't going down without a fight. Her side was all about the heart, talking up her connection with their child, the late nights, the sacrifices, the love that doesn't show up on a bank statement. She laid it all out there, raw and real, but something didn't click. Maybe the judge saw holes in her story. Maybe Kirk's team had receipts she couldn't counter. Whatever it was, the gavel came down and it landed hard in Kirk's favor. Jasmine's left there, tears streaming, watching her ex walk away with everything she'd been fighting for. Now, here's where it gets wild. What's next? Kirk's got the W, sure, but this isn't the end of the road. Jasmine's not built to just roll over and disappear into the shadows. You can bet she's already plotting her comeback. Is she calling her lawyers right now, hashing out an appeal? Is she about to drop a bombshell interview, spilling tea we haven't even heard yet? She's hurting. Those tears prove it, but that fire in her isn't out. And Kirk? He's riding high today, maybe popping bottles tonight, but custody battles like this don't just tie up neatly with a bow. Keeping that win might mean more courtroom showdowns, more dirty laundry aired out for the world to see. This whole thing's a powder keg and we're all just sitting here, popcorn in hand, waiting for the next spark to set it off. Think about it. Jasmine's got a fan base, a platform, a voice. She could turn this loss into a rallying cry, couldn't she? Flip the script, make it about her fight to get back what's hers. And Kirk, he's got to know the spotlight's not going anywhere. Every move he makes as a full-time dad is going to be under a microscope. One slip up and Jasmine's right there to pounce. This story's got legs and it's running straight into drama central. So what's your take? How's Jasmine gonna play this? Is she down for the count, or is this just the fuel she needs to come back swinging? And Kirk, can he keep this victory, or is he about to trip over his own ego? Drop your thoughts below because I'm dying to hear what you all think about this wild twist. Let's unpack it together.